Hey guys, I'm gonna do another reaction video to Teleradio. So I'm becoming a frequent guest. This is third time in a row, and it's a good. Well, now that I think the heat has started to dissipate from all of the major breaches, they're not completely solved yet, from what I know. But people just need to be reminded, no, of their cyber safety. So let's yeah, take a look. This was just this morning.
Sa larangang ito, ang founder po ng Data Ethics PH, si Sir Dominic Vincent Ligot. Magandang umaga, Sir Dominic.
Hi, good morning po sa lahat.
Oo, ay
Happy weekend.
kahapon ay kausap nyo lang din na kaming mga reporter. Nandun po ako doon sa inyong presentation at yun nga talagang andito na to.
I was actually invited by ABS-CBN just yesterday, as of this recording, to give a talk about AI, but obviously it was laced with the cybersecurity stuff. So yeah, just for context.
Ito na tayo sa panahong ito na yung ating mga bagay-bagay sa ating buhay ay talagang konektado na nga sa internet. Di na tayo pwedeng parang maging mamuhay na nga parang ermitanyo. So sir, yun nga, ano yung inyong masasabi? Ito, meron na naman panibago sa DOST matapos yung sa Philippine Statistics Authority at yung sa lalo na yung sa PhilHealth. Initial thoughts, sir?
Well, yun nga, I think it was yesterday na na-confirm na ng DICT na there was indeed a breach in the DOST, yung One Expert portal nila, which is a portal for our science and technology experts, no? Doon sila nagre-register. At sa PNP din po. And then previous to that, yung PSA. Lahat po ito ongoing na investigation on many fronts. And I think meron din akong nabasa na hinahanap na nila yung yung parties that were responsible for itong mga recent hack. According to that last report, the DICT suspects, and I kind of agree, that the perpetrators, or who knows, perpetrators of the PSA, and maybe the recent ones as well, PNP and DOST, are a different group compared to the Medusa group. Number one, there's no ransom, and number two, it feels like it's a local party. At katulad po ng na-discuss before, parang iba po yung gumawa nung itong latest na mga breach kumpara dun sa PhilHealth. Pero at the end of the day, pare-pareho naman po yung issue. Yung data po ng taong bayan ay nandiyan na, nasa public na, at anong kailangan protektahan natin ang sarili natin.
Totoo, dapat ngang protektahan. Yung tungkol sa nabanggit nyo nga na parang iba-iba, parang isolated. Pero yung ganito ba, sir, ay parang nagko-coordinate din ba yung mga hacker na yan? Kasi parang medyo sabay-sabay, di ba? Or halos sunod-sunod. So parang nag-uusap-usap din ba yung mga hacker na yan?
I can't speak for them, no, pero pwedeng ang nangyayari is merong gumawa ng isa, tapos yung iba nakikisawsaw. I mean, that's not out of the question. I think siguro magandang tingnan natin yung common ground nitong mga case na to, irrespective of kung sino yung gumawa. Technically, may pagkukulang yung mga ahensya kasi na-breach yung mga systems nila. Yan ang una nating tingnan. At pangalawa, irrespective of sino gumawa at saan nanggaling, yung talagang tayo, yung mga citizens, mga taong bayan, kailangan natin ingatan ngayon yung data natin. Kailangan natin alamin paano ba natin mapoprotekta ng sarili natin.
Lalo na sa password, paano ba natin nga mapoprotektahan ang ating mga sarili?
Well, yun nga eh. Obviously, yung mga basics, kung may password kayo, dapat yung hindi madaling hulaan, pwede namang gumamit ng password manager. Pero I think yung more fundamental is paano kaya tayo nakaka-contribute sa mga ganyang vulnerability, lalo na kung nagtatrabaho tayo sa government or mga companies. Number one, yung iingatan natin ano ba yung identity na ginagamit natin sa trabaho versus sa mga ibang parts ng buhay natin. For example, rin-recommend ko na ngayon na yung email, yung telephone number na ginagamit ninyo for financial transactions like banking, e-wallet, hiwalay dapat yun doon sa ginagamit ninyo for social media and everything else. Kasi oras na merong mali, for example, isa kayo sa mga minalas, kasama kayo dun sa mga na-breach at nakuha yung identity ninyo, ang una talagang tatargetin ng mga hacker yung financial financial transactions mo. At nakita na rin natin before, marami na rin nangyaring ganyan. So that's number one. And number two, kunyari, katrabaho kayo sa mga lalo na sa government, ingatan natin yung mga emails na natatanggap natin na may mga attachment kasi normally mga malware diyan pumapasok eh. Pwede ka naman i-email kahit sinong tao, akala mo kakilala mo pero pag tiningnan mo closely yung email address iba pala. Ang tawag diyan spoofing. Ingatan na natin 'yon kasi talagang sinasadya ng mga hacker talaga na targetin ng mga tao, especially if you're working in a major institution like PSA or PhilHealth. Kayo yung magiging vulnerability kung nangyari yun.
Oo.
Yeah, the attachments and malwares via emails or phishing. I think I neglected to mention. That's really the buzzkill that we need to be wary of because the moment you click, it's all out.
Talagang alam na nga mga hacker, no? Naalala ko yung sa pelikulang Ocean's 8, yung security pa naman din siya, involved siya sa security aspect nung pagme-maintain ng security ng yung museum at tinarget siya dahil alam nung nag-hack na siya ay mahilig sa aso. So talagang agad siya na-hook agad siya, no? So talagang pag ganyan, talagang ka dapat, kuidaw ka, kumbaga.
Oo. Tsaka yun na nga, balik tayo dun sa password choice, no? Hindi nauubra. Definitely dapat hindi mga password 1, 2, 3, admin. Dapat hindi yan ang ginagamit ninyo. But yeah, from time to time, nakakatagpo pa rin tayo ng mga ganong cases. Lalo na sa sometimes di naman sinasadya eh. Parang siguro initially nag-i-install kayo ng for example sa IT, nagde-deploy tayo ng system. Karaniwang practice naman talaga na yung parang initial password, parang something simple. Pero pag kunyari naka-deploy na, ingatan natin na palitan na natin yung mga password na yan. And especially for individuals, napakadaling hulaan eh. Malamang pangalan mo yan, no? Kunyari ako, Dominic 1, Dominic 2. I never use that nowadays. Yan ang madaling hulaan ng mga hacker kung ganyan ang mga passwords natin.
Or initials mo, 'di ba? Parang 'yan ang nagiging dati, 'di ba? Nung hindi pa tayo masyadong conscious, parang 'yan yung ating yung ating go-to passwords, initials o kaya lalo na yung birthday. Nako, wag na 'yan, sir.
There's actually an attack called dictionary attack. It's a script or an app that guesses passwords, and it's called a dictionary because every word in the dictionary is included there. So using a word is pretty, a number is completely useless. So if your password is a series of digits, instant, hack yan. A word, instant hack yan. You have to be creative. Words, plus numbers, plus punctuation marks, and in various combinations. It's not impossible. Eventually, mahuhulaan din siya ng password, generator, but it'll take longer.
Sir Dominic.
Oo nga, actually, kagabi lang meron akong kausap na lumapit lang sa akin sa Facebook na nababahala siya sa mga hack na nangyayari. At sinabi niya, meron daw siyang kakaibang napapansin sa account niya. For some reason, meron daw nag-message sa kanya na kilala siya, tapos may mga photos niya na pinapakita sa kanya. Natataka siya paano nakuha. Sabi ko, pag ganyan, palitan mo na agad yung password mo. Kasi malamang nahulaan. And then parang nagulat siya na, hindi ko pa pinapalitan yung password ko. So it's not second nature, I think Yung ganyang, we call it cyber hygiene. At saka for sure, kung yung password mo sa Facebook, malamang yan din ang password mo, kunyari sa Angkas or some of these other apps. So pag na-leak yan, madadali na yung buong identity mo. Yun yung ibig ko sabihin na it's not foolproof, pero kailangan ihiwalay na natin yung mga yan. Mas mahirap lang i-track, mas hassle, lalo na kung mag-iiba-iba ka ng telephone number. Pero for sure, dapat yung mga financial transactions mo, hiwalay talaga yung identity na yan doon sa iba. Lalo na yung mga nasa government ngayon, sorry to say it, yung mga binigay mong email at telephone number, kunyari sa PhilHealth, make sure na hindi yan ginagamit sa ibang bagay.
Oo, yung lumapit sa inyo, sir, hindi kaya parang dapat mag-ano na yan sa mga cybercrime division ng ating mga otoridad, NBI?
It's interesting how during my chat, if you look here, may ibang news na pwede bang i-discuss, please? So, yeah, it's just a reminder that people really don't, they really don't like hearing this stuff, and That's the problem that we need to address. No? They don't really like hearing about this. Pero pag nahack ka, ikaw naman yung iyak.
o PNP, parang ano yun, may mga litrato ng inaano sa kanya, parang may threat ba?
Well, certainly that's an option for anyone. Kaya tayo may mga cybercrime labs no sa PNP, NBI. So kung feeling ninyo you're now being targeted or identity theft, pwede tayong dumulog doon, no? But at the same time, it's always good practice to refresh your passwords from time to time. Kasi hindi yan magre-refresh on its own, di ba?
Oo.
Ikaw lang talaga. Yung iba, nag-expire, papalitan mo.
Oo.
Minsan, ang ginagawa ng mga tao, password 1 ka last month, ngayon, nag-refresh, password 2. Huwag din ganon. Talagang palitan nyo completely kasi matalino ding matching yung mga hackers, alam nila na, okay, nag-iba. Dagdagan natin ng 1 or 2 digits lang to, baka makuha na ulit natin. Mga ganyan, no? They will try it.
Hindi rin magandang practice yun. Ako ganun, guilty ako. Yung kung kailan lang ako hihingan ng pagpapalit ng password, tsaka ako lang papalitan. Tapos yung minsan may iba na pwede mo pang ipagpaliban, di ba? Parang pwedeng ipagpaliban, pinagpapaliban ko. Pero ano ba yung ideal na tuwing kailan dapat papalitan ng password?
Well, don't do it every day kasi baka ma-lock out ka rin. It's a good practice at least once every 2 or 3 months. Mag-set ka ng reminder, just refresh passwords. Tapos, yun pa, going back to identities, nasabi na natin kanina yung ginagamit mo for financials, hiwalay. Iwasan din natin gamitin yung work email natin for anything else. Kasi sa lahat ng email na madaling hulaan, yung work email ang pinakamadali. Kasi most likely it's first name dot last name or last name with first initial. Common practice ng mga work yan. Kung kitang-kita ng mga tao, saan ka nagtatrabaho, pag picture-picture ka, selfie-selfie ka sa office mo, makikita yan sa Facebook mo. Or kung meron kang LinkedIn, no? LinkedIn is another place na pwede kang mag-harvest ng information about someone. Madaling hulaan. Kung yung work email mo, nakala mo very secure, nagamit mo rin siya for other things, then you're sure, you can be sure na itatry nila yan, no? Try something else. And even yung mga emails na ginagamit mo for other things, siguro ngayon in hindsight, hindi na magandang idea na pangalan mo yung email mo kasi it's obvious. I know before, kunyari, nag-graduate ka from school, baka yung email mo nung bata ka is some cartoon character like Bugs Bunny, ganyan-ganyan. Actually, mas safe pa nga yata yun pero it's not very professional, no, when you apply for a job. So talagang hiwalay mo yung work email kasi it's meant to be professional, pero it's also easy to guess. Pero yung ginagamit mo for financials, for social media, ay hiwalay mo doon para talagang mahirapan yung hacker na kunyari na-hack nila yung work email mo, at least yun lang yung damay, the rest are still protected.
Nabanggit mo yung may mga cartoon character kasi di ba matagal na natin ginawa yung mga email address natin. Ako, shout out sa mga kaibigan ko, meron dyan yung kanya Dimples, may word na Dimples, yung isa naman ay name niya, tapos nakalagay na Hot Babe. Kasi ganyan tayo noon, lalo na nung kabataan natin yan, di ba? Ano ba yan?
Mga
2000s,
popular
late
shows,
90s.
mga San Goku, 3922, mga ganyan. I was just guessing, no? Or common practice din yung automatically ina-assign yung email sa'yo. No? Yung first name mo plus 2023, parang ganyan Ganyan ang mga email providers to make sure hindi kayo nagdo-double. Yun in hindsight, that doesn't look very professional. Kung nag-apply ka ng trabaho, tapos yung email mo, Bugs Bunny 2023. However, it's actually probably more secure kasi it's harder to guess. So I think, hindi natin iniisip yan everyday, pero ngayon na nakita natin na sunod-sunod yung mga hacks, and I'm not saying there will be another hack, kasi syempre, I hope not. Pero clearly, nagpipiesta yung mga hacker ngayon, tapos parang iba-ibang grupo ngayon yung nag-iingay. Iba yung PhilHealth, iba pa tong tropa na to, tapos iba pa yung tropang iba. I don't know I think we really need to be very careful pag ganyan.
Napaisip nga ako sir no? 'Di ba kasi yun nga nabanggit mo yung mga kumpanya, matic na yan yung pangalan, yung email address mo. Actually no, meron kayang kumpanya ngayon na parang iba na yung ginagamit at hindi na yung mga pangalan sa ganitong panahon ng hacking, 'di ba?
Yun na nga, I think so it's a very recent realization for me kasi I also run a company na syempre you want your staff emails to be easily identifiable, lalo na kunyari mga customer facing yan, no? You don't want, strange emails. However, on a personal basis, that's a bad idea na pala kasi madaling hulaan. And most likely, kung ginagamit mo yung work email mo somewhere else, yung work email mo yung madaling makompromise. actually, kasi yung security niya.
It's a very easy attack actually, especially with LinkedIn, lalo na for small and medium enterprises, for startups. You know, one person has an email, and you look for the other employees in the same company. Probably has the same format, like first name dot last name at company.com. That's a common attack. So yun nga, we have to be very mindful of our work identities.
Kumpara sa isang bangko, for example, or technically compared to the government, although nabibreach yung government lately, iba-iba yung levels of security. So talagang wag natin iasa yung safety ng data natin sa ibang party, you know. Be very judicious sa paggamit ng mga access mo.
At yung work email natin, syempre, nandyan yung payroll. So may pera involved, di ba? So talagang target din yan talaga.
Well, yun nga, one thing na I think people haven't heard until recently, yung term na SIM swap. Ako yung nag-iingay dyan since lumabas yung PhilHealth na, na hack. Yan yung pag nakuha na ng isang hacker yung telephone number mo, tapos and then yung IDs mo, and then yung email mo. It might be the same set na you used in the telcos for SIM card registration. Malamang maraming ganyan. Then, it's straightforward to go to the telco and ask for a replacement. Siyempre, mag-check din yung telco, pero hindi mo masabi, baka makalusot. What if mag-produce ako ng affidavit of loss, tapos authorization letter na nawala yung SIM card ni Dominic Ligot, pwede bang palitan ninyo, tapos nakakuha na ng hacker yung SIM card. Then, ayan, beginning of the end na yan, kasi I can now reset your email. Yung OTP, pupunta na sa akin kasi hawak ko na yung SIM card eh. And then, pag na-reset ko yung email, iisa-isayin ko na yan. If I were the attacker. Social media first, and then yung e-commerce, and then e-wallets, and yung last will probably be online banking. Kasi usually, personal appearance. Pero, again, kung isa tayo sa mga tao na pare-pareho yung password, pare-pareho yung email sa lahat ng bagay, di wala na. Huwag ka na magulat kung bigla na lang gumising ka tomorrow at lahat na nakuha bigla.
Oo nga. Yung ganito, yung nahack na mga gobyerno, mga ahensya ng gobyerno, although ang sinasabi nila, 'di ba, parang intact yung information, pero hindi rin natin alam, baka mamaya nga hawak na rin ng mga hacker yung
You know, it's an interesting play with words eh. I mean, I thought before it was intentional. Like PhilHealth kept saying the member database is intact. And PSA also said the civil registry was not affected. Just because it's intact doesn't mean it wasn't copied. Yun yung problema. Maybe in the case of the Medusa, ang typical ransomware attack kasi buburahin nila yung original eh. So maybe PhilHealth was just saying hindi naman nabura. But that did not mean that it was not exfiltrated or extracted out of the system. So now I think it's just more of, lack of awareness. And I think government agencies also need to improve their communication about these things. But the same way you would communicate about a pandemic or disaster, ang tawag dyan, risk communication, kailangan yung cyber communication din kasama dyan.
ating mga personal information. Ngayon ang tanong, ako bilang ordinaryong mamamayan, may mga parang early warning ba yan, mga early signs na parang na-hack na o talagang bigla na lang na may epekto sa iyo at wala ka nang magagawa? Ano yung pwede
It's
pa
really
natin
hard.
gawin?
Oh, really hard to predict kasi by definition bulagaan. But one thing though na I'm seeing looking positive. I think kahapon lang to. Naglabas na ng facility itong National Privacy Commission specifically to the PhilHealth hack.
Yeah, I'll take the time to show that to everyone now. No? So this is the portal. It's philhealthleak.privacy.gov.ph. They're doing a Troy Hunt style. Yung have I been pwned? Actually, you should see that. Have I been pwned? Yeah. Check if your email has been compromised. So ganyan din. Your email, you can also check if your password has been compromised or your domain has been compromised if you're a administrator. So back to this. They have uploaded the PIN numbers, PhilHealth identification numbers of at least 1 million with an M senior citizens. So if you're a senior citizen or you know a senior citizen, just check kung yung PhilHealth number niya na compromised. And if so, you can contact PhilHealth to see what other data was ano was addressed or was compromised. And maybe it's a good idea to start changing the identities na of the senior citizen right there, no? So just be aware of that. Itong have I been pwned, you can put your email address and it contains breaches from all over the world, no? So hindi lang naman limited to the government yung mga breaches natin. Most likely yung mga global apps and services tinamaan din, no? So just a heads up.
Ng isang link na database kung saan pwede mo i-inquire kung nasama ka dun sa breach. Actually, ginagawa na yun ng mga ibang institutions. Like, merong website na Have I Been Pwned? Baka later, i-flash ninyo. Ginawa yan ng isang security specialist na hinihingi niya sa mga companies, sa mga governments, yung mga listahan ng mga na-breach. Tapos kinakarga niya sa website niya. It's like a public service for him. Para lang alam mo kung na-compromise yung name mo, yung password mo, pati yung email mo, mache-check mo na, uy, nasama na pala ako sa isang breach. In fact, chinek ko lang yung sarili ko recently. Yung mga breach na nasama ako. Kasi marami, long before PhilHealth, marami na mga ibang breach at hindi lang sa Philippines. Mga iba. Kunyari, yung Yahoo na breach na yan, yung Spotify na breach na yan. And usually, ang hinahabol dyan ng mga hacker is ibenta yung data na yan sa iba pang mga tao. Yun yung gagawa ng krimen, no? And ang usual punteriya nila dyan is username and password. Knowing na yung combination na yon, mukhang gagamitin din yan ng tao sa ibang bagay.
Oh.
Then, the most sensitive will be your credit card number and then your cell phone, no? Lalo na kung local, kasi masi-SIM swap ka. Tapos yung credit card number mo, kunyari, financial transactions, 'di ba? Pwede sila mag-order na kung ano-anong bagay using your credit card. And kung nasa kanila na yung OTP mo, di wala na, tapos na. So I think it's really a wake-up call to everyone. Unfortunately, lalo na after SIM card registration, sinentralize natin yung identity natin sa isang numero na lang, 'di ba? Yan ngayon ang nakakapinsala sa atin kasi pag may na-breach na isang area, tatamaan lahat ng iba.
So anong pwede nating gawin na para ma-double check na hindi tayo na biktima? Paano ba yan? Pupunta ka sa mga iba-ibang ahensya ng gobyerno kung saan halimbawa member ka, check mo yung membership mo at yung mga financial aspect. Ganun ba dapat yung gagawin natin para lang masiguro at hindi tayo parang mabubulaga later on na halimbawa, naku, may nakapag-loan pala para sa akin o kung ano mang ginawang financial transaction na hindi mo alam.
Well, yung huling sinabi mo, for example, sa SSS, that has actually happened a lot of times, no? Na bigla na lang meron kang outstanding balance na hindi mo alam. I guess in those cases, alam mo na, and you have to dispute it immediately. Pero yung sinasabi mong earlier, is there a way to find out if you were part of a breach? Unfortunately, unless masama ka dun sa yung public service website na binanggit ko, there's no way. Pero yun nga, itong unang ginawa ng National Privacy Commission, I think the link is philhealthleak.privacy.gov.ph. Inuna nila yung mga senior citizens kasi mukhang may 1 million na senior citizen accounts ang potentially na leak. So pwede mo, kung kunyari, you're a senior citizen, you're a member of PhilHealth, I would suggest, or kunyari, you live with a senior citizen, yung parents mo or grandparents mo, i-check nyo na agad kung nandun kayo. And I think yung intention ng NPC is to add more data to that. That's what I would do. Para over time, lahat na ng mga naging leak in the past, malalaman natin. Kasi ang dami ng mga major leaks in the past. Yung Comelec leak, di ba? Years ago. Yung AFP leak, years ago. Pati mga private sector, di ba? Naalala nyo, may balita yung database ng Louis I think, or a couple of those pawn shops na na-leak din. I think we should all find a way to get all of those leaks, maybe with the NPC, and document them para ma-search na natin kung na-compromise. Tapos kung katulad ko nung nakausap kong kagabi na concerned citizen na nag-aalala na siya na may nag-hack na nung kanyang Facebook, a simple password change can fix that, no? And that's why I think dapat ugaliin natin palitan ng passwords natin very often.
Yung ulit ng Sir Dominic, yung link na inyong binanggit, yung chinek mo rin yun sa'yo, no? Safe ka. Pero para sa ating iba, ano yung link uli? Sa
philhealthleak.privacy.gov.ph. No? Kaka-announce lang siya literally kagabi. So I think they're in early stages of ang inuna nila, if I'm not mistaken, are senior citizens kasi mukhang may kasamang may nasamang list of senior citizens in the PhilHealth League. Pero hindi naman lahat ng senior citizens. So maganda lang malaman kung nandun kayo. Pero whether you find yourself in a list or not, balikan natin yung mga precautions na sinabi ko. Change your passwords often. Don't use a password na madaling hulaan. And, well, sorry na lang, it's really hard. It's a hassle. Pero talagang it's a lot safer if you have at least 2 or 3 different email and cell phone combinations. Lalo na yung financial transactions mo, ihiwalay mo talaga yun. Dapat hindi yan nahahalo sa iba. Kasi yun din yung unang punteriya ng mga hacker. Pag nakuha nila yung detalye mo from one leak, ang una nilang i-check, kaya ko bang i-reboot yung GCash nito? Kaya ko bang kunin yung online banking nito? Kaya ko bang i-compromise yung credit card nito? Yun talaga yung automatic eh. Kasi dun sila makakuha ng pera.
So talagang kailangan nga ganun parang compartmentalize ang buhay mo na
Oo,
ah,
talaga nakakainis eh. Tapos maybe, as I mentioned earlier, option din ninyo, yung practice of using the word email, keep it to work, kasi yan ang madaling hulaan. And yung mga ibang email mo, balik tayo sa Bugs Bunny, no? Something na mahirap hulaan.
oo, ganun na nga talaga ngayon kasi yung halimbawa yung sa PhilHealth pwedeng baka mamaya iba na yung kumukuha ng iyong insurance. 'Di ba? So dapat
Well,
talaga
pag mga ganong klaseng fraud, hindi naman imposible yon. Medyo matindi-tinding fraud na yon kasi syempre personal appearance karamihan ng mga transaction na yan. Pero you'll never know. Someone could impersonate you. Paano kung nakita? Kasi how's that possible? If they have your ID, ang daling mag-manufacture ng ID, di ba? Lalo na ngayon, napakagaling na ng technology. Tapos meron pang bumabanta yung AI, dali namang gumawa ng AI generated photograph. Alam mo yun, wag na nating antayin na mangyari yon. The easiest way is to protect yourself, hiwalay-hiwalay yung identity mo. And then maybe a little bit of a shout out to the government. I'm not telling you how to do your job, pero I feel na marami namang aminado, kulang ang investment natin sa cybersecurity. At hindi lang yan software, kailangan niya ng tao, kailangan niya ng mga specialist. Narinig ko nga si Yusek Jeff B. Ng DICT, I think kagabi. And sinabi niya, maraming mga cases at karamihan naman na filter out, that's good. Pero kulang din sa resources. So pinaprioritize nila yung mga cases na talagang malaki yung impact, namely PhilHealth and PSA, no? Kaya nung humabol yung DOST and PNP, tapos nakwento nila, medyo luma na yun, na-report na yun dati, pero obviously yung focus nila is in one area. Yeah, I can't fault them for that. Syempre, you have to prioritize yung bigger risks. Pero that just means kulang yung tao. So I don't think naman ikasasama nila kung sabihin ko we need to lobby for more cyber investment. And then sa taong bayan, I think cyber literacy, paano natin gagawin yon? Maybe via the NPC, maybe the school should start teaching it. Kasi I bet hindi kayo tinuruan ng cybersecurity sa school. I wasn't. So, bakit hindi? Di ba? And we're already in a digital world. Kailan pa natin naaaralin yung mga bagay na yan?
And sa mga kumpanya nga ngayon, 'di ba? Diyan na lang tayo natututo na yung mga tutorial na kailangan may 10 minutes ka na ia-allot para matuto ng ganyan kasi yung mga kumpanya nga ngayon ay talagang takot na rin na ma-hack, 'di ba? Kasi once na na-hack 'yan wala lahat na ng records ng mga empleyado. Kaya yung ganyan talagang seseryosohin yung ganyang mga tutorial Sir Dominic.
Actually, buti nabanggit mo yun. Kasi in any company, I've experienced this multiple times. May mga drills, di ba? Mga disaster drills. Anong gagawin mo pag may earthquake, may marshal, go down the fire exit, di ba? Kung may fire, same thing. But wala tayong cyber drill? Paano kung nagkaroon ng breach? What do you do? Kaya lahat ng tao na-shock agad Okay, anong gagawin ko ngayon? Parang you feel helpless. Ang mas mabilis ang impact ng isang cyber breach. Yung lindol, pwede mo pang medyo diskartehan na hindi ka malaglagan ng mga shelf and all that. Kaya siya pinapractice, for example. Pero in a cyber incident, the first 24 hours are crucial to secure the rest of your life. Kasi, kunyari, ang dami mo mga accounts, ano yung una mong i-reset? Diba? Pag nalaman mong na-breach ka, dapat medyo may instinct tayo dyan. So, maybe the idea of doing cyber drills is a good idea, but I think somebody should also suggest ano mo magandang way to do that, no? Para yung mga tao, in their minds, fresh agad. Kaya ako, every time merong
malaking leak, lalo na pag mga major institutions, global institutions, kunyari yung Spotify leak, tapos na-post na yung listahan kung sino yung mga affected. Hinahanap ko agad na password ko ba tinamaan, email ko ba tinamaan, ganyan. Or oras na may na-report na, kunyari, di ba, basta one social media platform na report na na-breach, hindi ko naantay na change lahat ng passwords kasi hindi mo masabi kung nasama ka doon. It's a hassle, pero it's one of the things that we need to do to keep ourselves safe.
Balikan ko lang yung nabanggit mo, no, na kailangan talagang mag-invest din hindi lang sa gamit kundi pati sa mga tao, ang gobyerno. Pakipaliwanag mo, yun nga, baka yung mga head ng agencies na nakikinig at nanonood, ano ba yung halaga nito? Kasi di ba ako parang as an ordinary person na naiisip ko, once na meron ka namang gamit at may konting tao, gagana na yan at tayo safe na. Ano ba yung kahalagahan na may mga tao rin?
Well, okay. Maybe there's three things. The first is, naalala mo yung balita na shortly after na-confirm yung PhilHealth leak. PhilHealth. Lumabas yung balita na hindi pala updated ang antivirus ng mga systems nila. And the reason given was procurement. Okay? I found that a little tragic kasi bakit procurement? Normally, ang procurement in many cases, may budget ba yan? At may bidder ba yan? Dapat nakahanda na yan and alam na ng kung sino man yung business unit concerned. Let's say I'm in PhilHealth. Malapit na mag-expire yung password. Password tuloy. Yung cybersecurity, yung ating antivirus. Dapat mag-acquire na tayo ng renewal. Di ba? Isipin mo yung operations na yon. Tapos sumabit. Bakit siya sumabit? Baka late na nasabi or wala siya sa budget, hindi siya na plano. So, what were the elements that could have contributed to that? Number one, baka naman walang tumitingin. So, yung tao talaga, we need investment in people. It can be additional staff with training or training for the entire organization. Baka nagkulang. I'm just giving you scenarios. Second, maybe the budget was not there. Third, maybe the way you process that budget, kailangan bang idaan sa procurement yan? Di ba dapat automatically renewed na yung mga ganyan? I think it's a matter of policy in the first place. Pero these are things that form part of yung tinatawag nating cybersecurity strategy or posture. And dapat lahat ng organizations. In the same way, lahat tayo may privacy strategy. Di ba? May DP.
The security strategy is the fourth. I forgot to mention the fourth. So those are the four things.
PO at dapat nare-report yung breach. In a way, directly involving privacy din yung security. Pero may specific angle ang security na hindi kino-cover ng DPO. Yung DPO, tinitingnan lang nila yung data mismo. Na-leak ba or not? Sino ba yung may control? Ano ba yung mga access points? Pero yung security, titingnan niya yung mga systems mo. Na bi-breach ba yung website mo? Yung mga passwords ba madaling i-crack? Etc. Trabaho rin ng cybersecurity professional. Actually, there are consultants who do this nga. Pero inside the company, to test its own systems. Kumbaga, try niyang hulaan yung mga password ng mga kapwa-employee niya, try niya gumawa ng cybersecurity penetration within the company para lang matest na robust yung system. Kasi nasa huli ang pagsisisi. Parang lang yan fire extinguisher. 'Di ba? Bibili ka ng fire extinguisher para sa bahay mo. You wished you would never have to use it, 'di ba? Pero kung may sunog, mahalagang nandyan siya. So, I think that's the same thing for any security or any precautionary principle. Kailangan nandyan siya. Buti kung wala siyang gagawin. That means walang breach. Mas okay yon. Kaysa sa nagka-breach tapos wala kang mahinga ng tulong o wala kang makuha na ng advice. And lalo na if you're in a high-sensitive agency like PhilHealth or in this case, PSA.
At parang yun nga, fire extinguisher. Ako minsan tinitingnan ko kapag nakikita ko yung mga fire extinguishers kung nasaan man ako, private o government facility. Minsan expired. Yun nga, hindi lang yung sisiguraduhin mo na may fire extinguisher. Siyempre dapat yung hindi expired. Kaya yun nga, tama ka Sir Dominic, talagang kailangan may taong titingin dyan at kailangan talaga ng dagdag na tao.
Yeah, tsaka I want to talk a little, kasi nagkaroon na rin ako ng role before sa risk management and partly cybersecurity back in the day. No? I was working for mga bangko. Yung trabaho na yan, hindi yan yung mga taong pinasasalamatan mo, unfortunately. No? Sila yung mga pinagagalitan mo pag may nangyari. What I'm saying is, you need people who are ready for that job. It's a thankless job, but it's an important job. So malaki rin yung, for example, pagpupugay ko sa National Privacy Commission, sa DICT. These are people no one will thank, but everyone will blame. So that means yung mga tao na nandyan, talagang yung medyo mataas ang integrity, mataas ang character. At ang goal talaga nila is to keep everyone safe. Pero kung yan ang mga department na medyo tinitipid natin, or we don't cooperate with these departments, then wala na. Let's be ready na for another big breach. And then, on the broader note, yung law enforcement, mga kapulisan natin, they should also be equipped. Kaya may mga cyber lab na yan. Pero imagine mo, buong Pilipinas ang coverage nila. At buong Pilipinas may some form of cyber issue. Di lalong problema yung tao, how many people will get those complaints and process those complaints. And lalo kung may mga financial losses, kailangan mong tulungan ng mga citizens, di ba? Paano nila ipaprocess yan? Like for example, I would probably challenge everyone, try to look for the steps that you need to take if you suffer an identity theft. I-google lang ninyo. I bet you won't find it for the Philippines, no? Kasi ako, nahihirapan din ako dyan. Ang unang puntahan mo, siguro yung Facebook page ng PNP, may message mo sila. Pero imaginein mo, ang daming taong nakapila doon. I think it really makes more sense na top of mind na agad. O may FAQ, what do you do if you suffer a breach? Tapos itong ginawa.
I'm thinking of writing that FAQ myself, but again, as a voluntary act, it's better if the authorities publish it. I'm just saying.
Ng NTC yung PhilHealth leak na website, we need that website for all the leaks we've ever done in the past. Kaya ayoko rin personally naririnig yung term na lumang data na yan. Minsan maririnig mo yon. Lumang birthday mo na ba yan? Ano ba yung bagong birthday mo? Hindi naman nag-iba yung birthday mo, di ba? And then in many cases, yung mga telephone number ng mga tao, hindi naman nagbago. Like I've had one telephone number I have right now. I've had it for 20 years. So, even if it was leaked 18 years ago, at risk ako ngayon with that telephone number. So, I think it's a cultural change that we need to adopt pag ganyan. Pag may na-leak, no matter how old, kailangan actionan somehow.
Ayan, sana ay narinig ng mga decision makers sa gobyerno itong iyong mga sinabi. At lalo na rin yung publiko, yung mga tips para maging safe ang ating buhay-buhay sa internet, kumbaga. Ayun, maraming salamat, Sir Dominic.
Salamat din. Happy weekend despite all of the attacks and keep safe.
Ayun, happy weekend din sa inyo, sir, despite the attacks. Ayun, yan po si Sir Dominic Vincent Ligot, ang founder po ng Data.
Okay, so third time's the charm. I think the tone of this one is a bit more, even more measured than the last one. I think hopefully it's dawning on people just how risky having anything online is. Unfortunately, we're forced to be online nowadays. Wala nang option, especially when it comes to our government identities and our banking identities. These are things that talagang we have to make sure we firewall from each other. And then, yun nga, password hygiene, be careful where you post your identification. That's really how it goes, though. So anyway, I want to thank Teleradio for featuring me. It's just a public service. I didn't ask to be featured, but hopefully whatever I shared was useful to you and everyone else watching. And yeah, until the next time, hopefully we don't have another hack to talk about, but yeah, it seems inevitable.